Hi, welcome to this week's CNMS success video. This week we're going to be talking about roadblocks and how to manage them. So if you're watching this the week we upload it, it's kind of like the middle of the semester, kind of getting towards spring break, and it's really when we start to hit a lot of first exams, we get those grades back, we start to feel overwhelmed, the kind of stress of the semester tends to hit now. So this is just a little video with some tips on kind of how to manage. So, obviously, we all face roadblocks in life, and college is kind of a like stepping stone towards that adult life. And so, it's one of the first times in our lives when we have to solve our own problems, or we start to solve our own problems. We do have a lot of help still in college, a lot of support there. Even if we don't always feel it, there's so much around us. Like it's really just built into the college experience. So, even if you live on your own or something, we are here to support you. Um, but it's really important to figure out, like, use this time to kind of figure out how to get around the roadblocks and how to avoid them in the future and all that stuff. So let's talk about some examples. So some really common examples of roadblocks in college, especially in the early years, are I got a D on my first test of the semester and I don't know why. I studied the same way I did in high school. Okay, there's one. Another one is I'm really overwhelmed with everything going on right now. This is a little bit more vague, but like it's super real and a lot of people feel it, especially around the middle of the semester or the end of the semester. And then another one might be I'm homesick or feeling isolated or lonely. This is also really common, even if we live at home. We can feel isolated just because like we're kind of going through a lot by ourselves. So, what I want you to do, if you have a minute, is if a friend came to you with one of these issues, what would you say to them? So practice actually saying it. Write it down or say it out loud. Because generally, when a friend has an issue, we are much more able to be calm about it and to give them some good advice and to be very generous and kind to them. And we sometimes have a hard time doing that with ourselves. And so this is a really helpful kind of just exercise in general to be like, okay, what if someone else I know were going through this? What would I say? Because it helps to figure out kind of how you can talk to yourself a little bit more of a generous way. All right, but now let's talk about some solutions. So here are just solutions to these specific problems that are, not super in depth, but some ideas for kind of how to handle them. Okay, so let's talk about the bad grade first. So college tests are very different from high school tests. You probably have figured this out by now. So I would suggest look for new ways to study that will support your understanding of the material. Now that you've seen a test, you will maybe understand more like what you need to study. Do you need to focus on the slides? Is this an application based test? Do you need to do more problems? Kind of figure that out. So ask someone else how they studied if you know some other people in the class. Maybe start a study group. We actually have study halls that support study groups for intro level STEM classes. And you can discuss helpful tricks together. There are also like success coaches like me, the person who's explaining all this stuff. I'm a student success coach for CNMS. You can come talk to someone like me or go to the Academic Success Center to maybe check out some tutoring options. Let's say you're feeling really overwhelmed. Okay, so a metaphor I like to use a lot is that you're juggling a lot of balls right now and it's impossible to keep them all in the air at once. You have academics, you have personal stuff, you have extracurriculars, sometimes you have family stuff, you have other responsibilities, you might have a part-time job. So keep a good handle on things you're going to put on the back burner each week. Be really specific with yourself, like, okay, this week I have a test in chemistry, so I'm going to need to like background my psych a little bit and maybe like do that reading in a little bit less depth, or like, just not spend so much time on it because I'm really going to have to study. If you're having trouble with this kind of overwhelmed feeling and it's not going away, I would suggest also talking to a mental health professional if you need to, because counseling is free on campus. And in the description box, there is a link to the UMBC campus counseling center at Retriever Integrated Health, which you can find out like where that is and then phone number to call if you need to make an appointment. Okay. So let's say you're feeling lonely or isolated. Last issue here. Again, it's really normal in college because you might be away from home, or even if you live at home, you might be missing your old friends who kind of know you and make you kind of feel validated about things. And you're going through a lot of new experiences. And sometimes it's hard to find people to talk to who you really trust and feel comfortable with. So, one thing I really suggest here is find activities on campus that focus on things you love to do because you will find people who have similar interests, which is a good way to build lasting friendships. So, a lot of times, folks who live on campus will meet all sorts of people who live like in close proximity to them in the first few weeks. Those don't necessarily become your lasting friends in college. They might, but it's more common to make your lasting friends in group activities where you guys have something in common that's really specific. So, another thing that I always really suggest to folks is if you're having these moments, one thing that really helped me when I was going through something like this in college is that I would look for a volunteer opportunity. Because looking for a volunteer opportunity gets you out of your head, gets you talking to other people, it gets you feeling like you're making a difference somewhere. And it really makes a difference. And so, like, into you. And so, I'm also going to include in the description box a link to the Shriver Center, which is our volunteer center on campus. You can set up something weekly where you can just see kind of what's going on that you can kind of help out with. But I would really suggest that you get involved with the Shriver Center if you're feeling lonely or isolated because it can be really helpful to kind of put your whole situation into perspective. So, in general, what do these things have in common? These solutions have the same thing, like basically built in here. It's ask for help. It is so exciting to have so much agency over your own life when you come to college, but it can also feel super overwhelming because it's exciting, but then you're all of a sudden like, I don't actually know what I'm doing. So, the best skill you can learn in college is to ask for help when you need it. And remember, adulting is consulting. So, always ask people, know who to go to, whether it's professors, advisors, success coaches, academic advocates, your RA, maybe a mental health professional, your parents, someone else who supports you. Know who to talk to and ask for help. Reach out when you need it. It's very important, and people want to help you. And there's all sorts of people on campus who are here for you. So, thank you for watching. We will see you next time and have a good one.